So, yeah, because I'm always very aware that you pick them up at the same time, they go close. So Jean usually holds them this way and does that kind of a charm. I usually hold them so that it's very short to do.
Yeah.
That kind, but I'm like, either way, just so long as they don't go clank, clank, clank.
One time, not several.
Well, in total, but yes, entry, back, and then up near the lectern. Random.
I think it went with the art and stuff.
Okay, that would make sense. Yeah. Yeah. So. Space be a place of rest and respite, sacredness, calm. All ease away.
It's that'd be good. I don't know anything about me.
Seeker, come traveler, come all humankind, online or in person, whomever you love.
Come and be welcome at the Unitarian Universalist Church of Cheyenne. Here, we are building a community of refuge where all have equal worth and are invited into spiritual exploration as a foundation for hope, compassionate service, and action.
This is a place where questions are encouraged, a place with room for all of who you are. This is a place full of works in progress, a place for being human together. Welcome. It is good to be here. Settle in and exhale. This is a time for community.
Well, I don't see Jessica here today, so for the Committee on Shared Ministry. Oh, newsflash. That, like, spiritually, shared journal, identity, connection, and community. And if you read us, you better fill out a body. And we can share information and you can find out about all that's going on here. Cards are also available to write your joys and sorrows for pastoral prayer. And you pass an additional basket during the offering to gather these. Write your name or be anonymous. You can write and do not share if you have something you would like to held in prayer by a worship leader and pastoral care team, but not spoken. So many activities, okay. Faith development, we have faith development classes today. Yes, for our youngsters. And then service auction, and that's coming up in worship for today for strategic planning meeting with our board, and look forward to our priorities of the congregation be part of our growth and movement. And next week, it says we're going to have time for conversation during our Sunday potluck. Love our Sunday potlucks. That's coming up next week as well. And I don't know, who do you have talking about Share the Plate today? Well, Reverend Elizabeth then.
Yes. So specifically conversation during Sunday potluck and following will be around our congregational commitment to sanctuary and to immigration justice. So if you have questions, comments, curiosities, bring all of those next week. And for this week, this is the final week in January when we collect each year for the minister's discretionary fund. So in this time, as we invite one another to generosity, we give from our resources, sustaining the work of this church, sharing our abundance, broadening the reach of our values. There's a text to give number in your order of service and also a QR code. You can use your Realm app for electronic giving. And you can also drop pledge offerings and any cash checks, things like that in the baskets. If you are one of those pre-digital or, or real life money people. So our Share the Plate partner this month is the Minister's Discretionary Fund. And specifically what the Minister's Discretionary Fund does is we make sure that there is an option for seeking help, seeking aid, getting support through the church that doesn't require people to go through a whole process to prove need. It's a place where we have a little extra so that if what would really be helpful as you're feeling ill is just some soup that's dropped on your doorstep that you don't have to worry about, we can do that. If you're waiting on a new job, but boy, rent is going to be tight this month, or you might not quite have what you need to pay for your kids' piano lessons, you don't have to drop that. You just say, hey, church, do you have a little extra to share? So this is one of the ways that we bind together our community and affirm one another's dignity. one another's ability to do what is good for ourselves and our community, to keep ourselves healthy and well, so that we, in our turn, as we rise and fall, are part of that network, that great web of interdependence that keeps us all thriving and well. So as we hear from Aaron Varhalmi, our violinist, we'll pass those baskets and encourage you to share in generosity. And also, if you have joys or concerns or sorrows to share, you can place your note cards in those baskets as well. The square. Thank you. And so it is with deep gratitude. We receive the gifts of music. Oh, are we? I hope we're on. Let's see. Am I coming through here? Yes. Oh, good. And so with deep gratitude, we receive this morning's offering for the work of this church, for one and all. As each new day dawns, we meet it, cold air crisp on our faces. As the day dawns, we meet the warmth of the sun, fire flashing into being. As the day dawns and the snow underfoot crunches, we know it will soon be water once more. nourishing trees and grasses and seeds not yet ready to sprout. As the day dawns, the earth itself moves below us, spinning on its axis, as spring prepares to come again, not yet. We are not there yet, no perfect or complete, for all is in progress. All is in flux, and here we pause to find the sacred, to open ourselves to what is, to dream of what may be, to remember that we are part of a great cycle and the changing point where history is being made. We recall ourselves to life and courage, to hope and love, to become part of a new day, a new dawning, to let the world and ourselves once more entwine, to remember that we affect one another. So we come here to know what is right and good, to celebrate what we can find of joy, to know that evil and sadness does not endure, that there are always those seeking justice with us, always those together in our hope. And here we come to worship that which is worthy of our attention and our love. So let us find one another once more in this circle of community. Today, we are opening our space to the elements as we prepare for our annual fire ceremony, a pagan-inspired ritual of renewal in which we will use the element of fire to bring a close to all that which does not serve us and to uplift our intentions for what is to come, our hopes, our courageous dreams. So today, we'd like to begin by calling and acknowledging all of our four directions and our ancestors and elements of the spirit world, to call to our inner selves and bring our world to this place with us in ceremonial space. So if there are any of our young or young at heart who would like to assist in lighting one of our four candles, as we call the directions, you are welcome to come up at this time and be part of that work. So Meg will help us at the altar and make sure that those who would like each have a direction that you know that you're going to be lighting in. And if all of our people of all ages would like to join me, you can rise to your feet if you'd like, or turn your bodies. We are going to start in the east. So as we turn to the east, let us raise our hands or our attention toward that light of the east, to the light of dawn and the element of air. Here we call to the breath of life, to new beginnings. The song of the birds that heralds daybreak, and the ancestors who experimented and worked for new ways, and all that is to come. All those writing of new ideas, bringing forth their hearts in poetry and prose. May they be with us. May we be together as we light this first candle for air. We now turn to the south, to the beings of the south and the element of fire. Here we find the heat of the new day sun, the courage and fire for justice, the effort and sweat to find success beyond 1,000 failures. Here are the ancestors surviving against all the odds, insisting on another try, a kinder world. All those who bend the arc for justice, be with us as we light this candle for fire. We turn to the west.
We turn to the beings in the west, the place of sunset, of water that brings the rains of nourishment, a place of transient yet permanent strength, and ask them to join us as we light this candle. And now we will turn to the north. We turn to the beings in the north, the place of earth, of permanence like the mountains, caretakers of time and stories, the resting place of darkness, and ask them to join us as we light this candle.
And finally, we turn inward as we rejoin our seats. We light our chalice flame. Our chalice centers us in our values for love and compassion. Our chalice is a reminder of all those who have come before, all those who make the future. And so it is, and so it may be. Thank you. And if you'd like to stay up for just a moment, we're sort of doing this backwards. We're going to sing Rise Up, O Flame together. We invite you to open your gray hymnals. It's number 362. And then we will speak our covenant in unison after our song. It's pretty easy. It's Rise Up, O Flame, by thy light glowing. Show to us beauty, vision, and joy. That's all the words you have to remember. Rise up, O flame, by thy light glowing, show to us beauty, vision, and joy. Rise up, O flame, by thy light glowing, by thy light show to us beauty, vision, and joy. Rise up, O flame, by thy light show to us beauty, vision, and joy. Rise up, O flame, by thy light show to us beauty, vision, and joy. By thy light glowing, show to us beauty, rise up, O flesh. By thy light glowing, show to us beauty, vision, and joy. And now our covenant, which is in the cover of your order of service, it begins with the most important word, which we know is love, is the spirit of this church, and service its cause. This is our covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek truth, and to help others. And now we come to our time for all ages. So we'll have a little seat. And thank goodness I've got some of the older kids, because I realized that this is not a super new movie anymore that I was hoping to talk about. But I'm gonna bet you all have maybe seen Inside Out before. Oh, good. Have some of you seen Inside Out before? Okay, at least a few nods over there. Because today we're doing a fire ritual. And I don't know if anybody remembers, but there's an emotion in Inside Out who's pretty closely connected with fire. Do we remember? What emotion is that? Anger. Yeah. Yeah, so there's a character, Anger, and he's sort of a little red guy who hops around, and when he gets angry, what happens? Yeah, his flames on the side of his face or the top of his head. So looking out at this group, do we have anyone who's ever experienced anger before? I got some nods, a few people with raised hands. Yeah. What happens in your body when you feel anger? Yeah, different things for different people. Are there any sensations that you feel? I tend to get kind of a feeling in the pit of my stomach. Hmm?
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes you feel heat, you feel a little hot.
Fight or flight.
Yeah, that sometimes you get a fight or flight kind of reflex where you might want to make really big body movements. You want to either run away from the problem or get right up in there. Yeah. I often find that my eyebrows will come down, make little grumpy scowls. We often think that anger is kind of one of our bad emotions. Yeah. Have we heard this before? It could be a dangerous emotion. You might hurt other people when you get angry. So some people just try to avoid ever getting angry. Does that work super well? How many people have never been angry? Oh man, I don't see any hands up. So I think avoiding anger completely is probably not a thing we can do. But there is a part in the Inside Out, and this is part of what I wanted to talk about with anger, where anger is looking back into the control room, and he's so mad that he can't get there, that his whole head lights on fire. And then all of his friends just tip him sideways and they use him to cut the glass so they can get back in and help realign the emotions in the brain. And it's one of those moments where I go, yeah, if you can harness anger and use it constructively, that can be a pretty powerful emotion. I don't think anyone else would have had the power to cut through a glass wall and to get them back where they needed to be. And that's the kind of anger that we sometimes can shift, can turn that into a passion for justice, a reminder that we are not powerless, that we could do something, we could write something, we could say something. That kind of anger, banked and used properly, can turn into courage and bravery. So anger directed toward a system or a barrier maybe is the kind of anger that can be effective. So today, we're just noticing that some of these emotions that I suspect some of us may have been having over the past couple of weeks, past few days, are not things to suppress or to push away, but things maybe to redirect, to take fear or anger and use that energy and figure out what creative things we can do. Because anger by himself in that scene would have just burned and then burned out. But anger directed, anger put together with friends like joy, fear, sadness, disgust, but all of those emotions brought together as a creative force turn anger into something effective. So now is our moment for all of you to think, what kinds of creative things might we do with the power of anger if we're feeling it? Turn it into music. What else? Writing, yeah. Art, exercise, activism, yeah. Sometimes we can turn our anger into the energy to help people. I like angry baking or angry casserole making. And hey, you can give casseroles to people who need food or could use some cheering up. And cookies. Yeah. So there are a lot of things we could be doing with any of those emotions we're having. And thank you all out there, up here, for being part of thinking that through. It is time to head to our seats as we move into our pastoral prayer. Thank you. Each week, as we come together, we remember we are part of a larger community. So will you join me today in offering our thoughts, our meditations, and prayers to this community and to the greater communities of this world? Spirit of life, Spirit of love, as we gather with each other, may we be a support and a comfort in hard times. May we celebrate together what is joyful and happy, and dwell together in the wonder and mystery of this magnificent and ever-changing life. Today, we are holding in our hearts several members of our community. May we offer prayers and hopes for healing for our dear friend Elaine Hayes, who suffered a stroke yesterday and has gone to Denver for medical care. We offer gratitude that she was able to find help promptly, that both her daughter and her librarian friends were able to be with her so swiftly to accompany her in this time and make sure that her cats are cared for in her absence. In this time, let us offer our hopes and our deep prayers for healing and for well-being. We offer care in a time of grief for the Solis family. Jen Solis's mother passed away this weekend. And in this time of sadness, this time of grief, may we offer gentle caring, whether a listening ear or a time of respite or a tender word when it seems appropriate. May we hold in care as well Julianne Freeman, a new member of this community, who is suffering with pneumonia this week, in need of rest and care. May we as well offer prayers for her healing, that the breath of life remains strong within her. We lift up as well Elizabeth Thorson's brother, who's having a difficult time. We know sometimes what is most needed is simply the prayer, the hope, presence for those caring, for those who are in difficult circumstances. So here too, may we offer our thoughts and our caring. May we offer as well care for that family who says we are holding both joy and sorrow as our family goes through a transformation. There is fear and hope for all the changes that we face. We offer joy as well. Meg V notes that her chronic condition is in remission and she's off of medication, which is fabulous news. Let us offer joy in that healing process and gladness. Our prayers as well reach out within this community and to the wider world. So many of our trans members, our friends, our families, our siblings in faith are feeling fearful, unable to get passports issued or renewed, feeling restricted and wondering about their safety. May we hold them in our hearts and hope that their movement may be made available to them once more. Hope that safety may come again one day. May we hold in care friends, families, members, and all those surrounding us who are our neighbors, worrying about themselves and their children as immigrants and those connected to our immigrant communities. May we hold courage to reach out, those of us who are citizens, to be of generosity of spirit, to offer care and comfort. May we be brave in times of trouble. May we offer a bit of vulnerability to let one another know what is needed and to uphold our highest ideals. For love is the spirit of this church, and we can show it in compassion for one another. We hold all those in our hearts, like the Reverend Marianne Edgar Bodie, who speak truth to power, who speak in kindness of the necessary and courageous realities of troubled times. May all who have power to heal or harm hold mercy for the people of our country who are scared now. May we too use what power we have for mercy and justice, to uplift the oppressed and bring the marginalized into the center of our care. And may we remember that this world is ever bigger and stronger and longer lasting than any political will or single person. And so let us remember that although this is the chill time of the year, although the news may set us off balance and the winds may blow, that we are part of a great cycle. The turning of the earth continues. The springtime shall come again. May we give thanks for the ever-changing ways of earth and hold room in our hearts as well for joy, for sorrow, for all that stirs in our hearts, all that stirs and grows beneath the earth. And may we find in this space peace and comfort and community which enfolds us. Amen. And blessed be.
Today's secret message is Let There Be Light by Andrew Pakula. Let there be light, the light of joy, the light of happiness, and the light of contentment. May it illuminate our paths and fill our lives with peace. And let there be dark, for it is from our dark places that we are brought forward, tried and tested, and impelled toward growth. It is in these places that we realize compassion and learn to love. And there was a day, and there was night, and there was joy, and there was sorrow. And it was good.
Today is a day for ritual and prayer. Many Unitarian Universalist congregations hold fire rituals, often near the beginning of each year, in this time of change, of creativity, of renewal. This ritual helps us consider what might be holding us back and what we are ready to embrace, raising our intentions so the journey onward may be guided by our values of justice and generosity, equity and interdependence, to place love at the center and dismiss our fears. Our burning bowl offers a chance to let go of whatever is holding us back, to find a new balance and recommit to our highest ideals, bringing our values and ethics along for the journey into a new year. So today, we offer the warmth of fire to be with us on our journey, to carry goals upward like breath and wind, and offer life to our hopes. We will now pass out fire paper. You're invited to take one, maybe two, to hold, to imbue with your energy, with a hope, a resolution for the new year. Because these papers are quite flammable, if you have a younger person with you, you can certainly have them have their own fire paper. Let's just make sure a responsible adult tracks where that paper is and make sure that it comes up and becomes part of the ceremony and doesn't end up somewhere else in our pews. So as you get your papers, take a moment to hold them, to ponder what you need, what you might be turning new hopes or dreams into. If you're holding anger or fear, what that might become in creativity. Perhaps you need to release anxiety or hope for greater patience. Perhaps you hope for compassion to fill your heart. Perhaps there's a wish to learn more this year, to let go of certainty, to allow yourself a beginner's mind, or to be courageous in a way that you have not before. Perhaps you don't know quite what you need, but you hope your heart will be open to the surprise. Whatever you bring, however it begins to manifest, you can put those thoughts and feelings into that piece of paper. You might write a word or a symbol upon it, or you could crinkle it with your hand, or simply hold it to imbue with your energy. If you're joining us online, as I know several of our members do each week, feel welcome to put a word or an asterisk in the chat, and we'll add that to one of our papers to bring forward and uplift on your behalf. When you feel ready, when you want to send that intention beyond yourself, come on up to the altar or hand your paper to Meg, who will be in the aisle to take up for you for burning. And when you're ready, you can touch it to any of our element candles or our central flame and lift swiftly. This way. Come down that side. Yeah. Perfect. Let go. Go away. This one? Yep. Yes.
Us. Good job. Excellent. Well done. It feels like going against all you've taught about fire.
And a final one for all those hopes, those dreams, that courage, which imbues our sanctuary and is held here in sacred attention. From Lois Van Leer. Roar through my soul, flame and fire and searing heat. Burn all my fears to ash. Now send your sparks up on the breath of the wind to the sun, the moon, and stars, snaking paths, roads for my spirit to follow, and sweet, sweet release. Deep thanks for the gift of music. Let us remember that the blaze of fire within us could be one of commitment or caring, of passion, of anger. And what is important is that we use it in ways that create and uplift, like the rising heat, the warmth of flames well banked, not to destroy or let those flames twist us. This past week, I know for many in this congregation, the sweeping changes of executive orders and policy at the national level, the bills going through our state legislature have been hitting many of us close to the heart. Whether for friends or family members, whether for ourselves or our children. If you are one of those struggling, wondering, holding some fear, holding anger, upset, or unsure, may this place, this congregation, offer space for your vulnerability and be a place of respite. May it as well be a platform and a launching point for your courage, for your readiness to be with others. We hold a connection to love, and that love is often what makes us afraid or angry on behalf of those around us. In the words many of you may have heard from the Bishop Marianne Bodhi as she spoke in the National Cathedral during the inauguration, we seek unity. It is a unity of spirit, a way forward that is not outrage, but through common values. Bishop Bodhi is Episcopal and we are Unitarian Universalist. And I believe we share a great deal in common. She uplifted the inherent worth, the dignity of every human being, uplifted honesty, the seeking of truth, and humility for our fallible ways of being, to know that we are imperfect and still do our best for one another. If you have not had a chance to go listen to her words, I encourage it. She speaks deep wisdom, which goes beyond denomination and holds a truth that may be for all people. We hold a love that lies beneath our search for truth, that offers meaning and drives us to spiritual endeavor, that brings us back to community each week. More than that, her words remind me of why we do these rituals, why we hold space for the Buddha washing, the fire ceremony, flower communion in the spring and gathering the waters in fall, why the joy of our glitter blessings is more than a transient bit of fun, but something that connects to a deeper calling for our justice ministries in this congregation and in the community. It is because each of these rituals brings us back to the deeper meaning that holds our lives, bringing the fire of anger and outrage, a fire that burns hot and brief, back to love and community, to a place where we hold power together. Instead of believing in our fear, in our outrage, that diversity is a threat or that people are meant to be suspicious of one another, we move together, sing together, do rituals together to open our hearts once more to our common covenant, to that truth and dignity, to humility and diversity, to love that underlies all our prayers and hopes, the love that stirs our dreams and asks of us mercy and compassion. That here in our sanctuary, we find a place of refuge, a safety to practice being human and to offer space to all our companions on the journey through life, to find respite from fear, to bank the fires of anger and outrage into something more sustainable. This passionate commitment to what the book of Micah says is required of all people is to do justice, to love mercy, and to walk humbly with the divine. This day and each day, as we confront that which is intended to exhaust us, to turn us inward in fear, to make us build the barriers of hate, may we instead bank those fires for one another and bring them back to our common flame, to the fire of commitment, the warmth of community, to stoke the light of truth that points our way back again and again to love. And so let us finish today by rising in body and spirit, joining together in a sung response. It is number 6 at the front of your gray hymnal. Just as long as I have breath, let us answer yes to life, to truth, to love.
Go. John, go.
Please remain standing as we extinguish our chalice flame, sending forth our children to carry the flame as they continue their religious education in the Rainbow Room downstairs. Can our chalice flame carrier come up and get the flame? As we speak together our words in our order of service.
Do we have someone to carry the flame? Oh, good.
Oh, good.
shall extinguish our smoke.
As we speak our words, which are, we extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry within our hearts until we are together again. And we are going to release the circle that we opened earlier. So, to the north, we say, to the beings of the north, we thank you for your stories, your wisdom, your patience, and bid you farewell until next time. We turn to the west. To the beings of the west, we thank you for your presence, your nourishment and strength, and bid you farewell until next time. We turn to the south. To the beings of the south, we thank you for your inspiration, your endurance and passion, and bid you farewell until next time. And we turn to the east. To the beings of the east, we thank you for your reflections, your kindness and generosity, and we bid you farewell until next time. And now I invite you to turn toward the center aisle as we sing out our children to their class with the words printed on the back of your order of service. Children, remember as you go the lessons we have learned together. To seek the light of truth, to tend the fire of caring, always returning to the warmth of the community.
As we close, may we close in blessing. With love at our center. May we go forth with courage and compassion, holding within our hearts the knowledge that we are strong enough for all that is to come, that we are never alone, that all we have learned and all we are becoming hold the seeds for the future, that more mercy, kindness, justice, and compassion is always ready to grow and to be released into the world if we will just plant it and let it grow bit by bit. Blessed be.
No, I see. Sorry.